Good morning, students. Hope everybody is fine and enjoyed the Diwali break. Now today we are we are just going to recall lesson number 4, the Mughal Empire. In today's class, we are going to just recap the Mughal Empire, lesson number 4 of history, and hope whatever questions given of this lesson are done in the notebook, the textbook questions, whatever I have given, and the extra questions, whatever I had asked you before the Diwali break, you have completed it in your notebook. Now, uh, today I'm just going to recall this lesson, uh, and in our next class, we are going to start with geography lesson number 3, a changing earth. So, in our next class, be ready with the geography. And today, just a recall what we have understood in this lesson before the Diwali break. So, in this lesson, we have read about the Mughal Empire, that the Mughals created an empire and accomplished what had hitherto seemed possible for only short period of time. That means the Mughals had created an empire, great empire, which had previously or earlier, which was seemed impossible for the others to have such a great empire in the previous or earlier years. And these Mughals had expanded their kingdom from Agra and Delhi until in the 17th century they controlled nearly all of the subcontinent. Then further in this we have seen about that who were the Mughals. First, we'll see, we have seen that who were the Mughals. The Mughals were descendants of the great lineages that in this we have seen that Mughals belong to two great ancestral backgrounds, and these we have seen that from mother's side they belong to Genghis Khan, who was the ruler of Mongol tribe and China and Central Asia, and from father's side they belong to Temur, and who was the ruler of Iran, Iraq, and modern day Turkey. So these Mughals were the descendant of these two main ancestral background. But if we have further seen that Genghis Khan's memory was associated with massacre, means lot of mass killing of innumerable people, and that is why Mughals did not want themselves to be called as Mongols or from the background of Mongol. Either on the other side we see that they were very much proud of themselves to be called from the Timurid background. Why? Because of great ancestor had captured Delhi in 1398. Next, we have seen about the Mughal military campaigns. In this, Babur, the first Mughal emperor, had succeeded the throne of Fargana in 1494, and he was only 12 years old at that time. And then in 1526, he had defeated the Sultan of Delhi, Abraham Lodi, at Panipat, and then captured Delhi and Agra. So, thus, now the military campaign started of the Mughal dynasty. Further in this, we have seen about different Mughal emperors who sat on the throne of Delhi. First, Babur sat on the throne of Delhi, and after his military campaigns and all, then his son Humayun, then Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. All these Mughal emperors sat on the throne of Delhi. Now, what was the Mughal traditions of succession? Now, the Mughal did not believe in the rule of primogeniture. What was this rule of primogeniture? This is the rule where the eldest son inherited his father's estate. That means when the eldest son had the uh, control, or we can say had the access to the father's estate, and they did not belong, they did not follow, these Mughals did not follow the copper currency inheritance. That means the division of sorry, they followed the custom of division of inheritance among all the sons. That means they did not believe, Mughals did not believe that only the eldest son should have the inheritance of the father's estate, but these Mughal were of the opinion that each and every son should have the equal share in the father's property. Next, we have seen about the Mughal relations with other rulers. In this, we have seen that Mughal rulers campaigned constantly against the rulers who refused to accept their authority. That means we have seen that those who did not accepted the authority of Mughal, they were defeated in the war by Mughals and then brought into their supremacy. Then we have also read about the rulers of Rajput. They were the good example at that time who joined the Mughals by their own choice. And how they joined the Mughals? That they married their daughters into the Mughal families and thus received high positions. And next, Sisodia Rajput refused to accept the Mughal authority, and when they refused to accept the Mughal authority, they were defeated. And but after defeating also, Mughal treated them with great honor and gave their lands and assignments with the careful balance between defeating but not humiliating. Means they did not torture them, though they defeated the Sisodia Rajputs, but they did not torture or disrespect them, but they treated them with honor, great honor. So this was the treatment given to the rulers who were uh, who came under the supremacy of, who were defeated and came under the supremacy of Mughals. Now, Mansabdars and Jagirdars. In this, we have seen that those who joined the Mughal services were enrolled, were uh, became as mansabdars, were called as mansabdars, and the term mansabdars refers to the individual who hold mansab. Now what is the mansabdar? Mansabdar is the term which is used for an individual who is doing service for the Mughal empire and who holds a mansab. Now what is this mansab? Mansab means the position or a rank which was given to that individual in the Mughal administration. And it was the grading or system used by the Mughal to fix rank, salary, and determine the numerical value called Zat. Then Mansabdar military responsibility, it required him to maintain a specific number of sawar. Now, Mansabdar also had the military responsibility. For that, they had to maintain the specific number of sawars or cavalrymen. And according to that, the Mansabdars brought his cavalrymen for review, got them registered, their horses were branded, and received money to pay them as salary. So this was the thing. Mansabdar's responsibility. They had to perform for the Mughal administration. Now Mughals received their salaries as revenue assignment called jagirs. Now they used to Mansabdars used to receive their salaries in the form of jagirs. Now, what are the jagirs? I had already uh, explained you that these jagirs were the land granted given to these mansabdars. Further, we have seen that in Akbar's reign, these jagirs were carefully assessed so that their revenues were roughly equal to the salary of mansabdar. So these lands were carefully evaluated, and so that how much salary that mansabdar is having, that much jagir they are receiving or not by the ruler. Further, we have seen about zabt and zamindars. The main source of income available to Mughal rulers was tax on the produce of peasantry. That means what was produced by the peasants, by the farmers, that was the main income source of income for the Mughal rulers. And the Mughal rulers used the term zamindars to describe all types of intermediaries, the middlemen. Intermediaries means the middleman between the Mughal ruler and the zamindars and the farmers. Everyone was termed as zamindars by the Mughal rulers, whether they were local headmen or villagers or powerful chieftains. They all were termed as zamindars, who were the intermediators or the middlemen between the Mughal and the local people. Now, Akbar's revenue minister Todermal also carried out a careful survey of crop yielding prices and areas cultivated for 10-year period. So Todermal used to keep the careful record of each and every crop which was produced under the rule of Mughal ruler on the in the lands, and a careful survey was done, and Todermal was at that time the revenue minister of Mughals. Each province was divided into the revenue circles, which its own schedule of revenue rates of individual crops. This revenue system was known as Zabt. So, revenue system at that time was called as Zabt, which was in which each crop was having its own individual price at that time. Further, in this lesson, we have seen that the zamindars exercised a great deal of power, and the exploitation by Mughal administrators could drive them to rebellion. Means zamindars had a great deal of power under the Mughal administration, but the Mughal administrators used to exploit them, and thus the zamindars joined hand with peasants and of the same, and they joined with the peasants and rose against the Mughal authority. Next, in this paragraph, we have seen about the Akbarnama and Aine Akbari. That means Abul Fazl has wrote Akbarnama, the book entitled Akbarnama, about the reign of Akbar. Whatever happened during the rule of Akbar, everything is clearly mentioned in Akbarnama. And the third volume of Akbarnama is Aine Akbari, in which Abul Fazl has written about the things as diverse as crop, yields, prices, wages, revenue, everything in detail is written in this book. Then few policies of Akbar also is given by Abul Fazl, and it has written that the empire was divided into provinces called subas. Now, at that time, under Mughal rule, the empire was divided into different provinces, and those provinces were called as subas. And these subas were under the control of a subedar. That means was governed, was administered by a subedar who used to carry out both political and military functions. So this subedar was responsible for both administration and military function. Also it has to perform in his own province, in his own suba. The subedar was supported by other officers also, and the other officers were military paymaster, that was called as bakshi, then religious and charitable minister in charge, that was called as sadar, military commander, that was called as fauzdar, and the town police commander was called as Kotwal. So all these people were there to help the Subedar in proper administration of the province, or we can call as Subas also. Next, in this paragraph, we have read about the influence of Nurjahan in Jahangir's court. That Nurjahan has a very important place in Jahangir's court. Then further we have read in this, while they were loyal to the empire function, that means the uh, zamindars were very loyal to the empire. The people who were under the service of the Mughal empire, they were very much loyal to the Mughals. But by the end of the 17th century, many nobles had built independent network of their own. But by the end of the 17th century, we have seen that nobles had built the independent network once they have control over their own provinces, own territories, own areas, and thus now the empire was weakened by their own self interest, by these own self interest of these nobles and these jamindars. While Akbar was at Fatehpur Sikri during 1570s, he started discussions on religion with the ulema. Now, when Akbar was at Fatehpur Sikri, he used to discuss on religion with ulema, Brahmins, Jesuit priests, who were also called as Roman Catholics and Zoroastrians. So these were the religious people with whom Akbar used to discuss on the religion. And by the discussion with these religious people, Akbar came to know that their teaching created division and disharmony among his subject. So slowly, he led the idea of Sulay-e-Kul. Akbar led the idea of Sulay-e-Kul. Now, what was Sulay-e-Kul? Sulay-e-Kul was universal peace. According to this idea of universal peace, idea of tolerance, they did not discriminate between people of different religion in his realm. That means now, according to Sulay-e-Kul or universal peace, each and every religion was treated equally and there was no discrimination in the religious practices in the religions of the people, and it focused on honesty, justice, and peace, which should be applicable for each and every person in his realm, in his rule. Then further, we have seen about the Mughal Empire in the 17th century and after that, the administration and military efficiency of Mughal Empire led to the great economic and commercial prosperity. And the Mughal emperors and their mansabdars spent a great deal of their income and salaries and goods. These expenditure benefited only the artisans and peasantry who supplied them with goods and produce. Further, in this, we have seen that the wealthier peasants and artisanal group, the merchants, the bankers, they only profited from the economic world under the Mughal rule. Now, the enormous wealth and resources commanded by the Mughal elite made them extremely powerful. Now, the great, much wealth and the resources of the high class, ruling class Mughal people who were having the high category in the Mughal administration, they were becoming extremely powerful group of the people in late 17th century as the authority of Mughal emperor slowly declined and the main authority of the Mughal emperor was slowly declining because now the people who were working under the Mughal uh, empire in the administration of the Mughal rule, they were becoming extremely powerful. They were only benefiting from the economic world of Mughals. And thus we see that Mughal emperor slowly the respect, the authority was declining and his servants emerged as powerful centers of power in the region. That's all we have seen in this lesson and we have ended the lesson here only. Uh, question answers were given to you. I hope everybody has completed the question answers in the notebook. Now, in our next class, whenever we will meet, whether in live class or in a video uploading, we will start with the new lesson of geography, that is geography lesson, lesson number 3, Our Changing Earth. Thank you.